Moving forward. Periodic moving forward. Have you ever been stuck? No, I mean, have you really been stuck? Imagine you're in a foreign land where you don't speak the language, there's no one around, and you have no access to Facebook. That's the level of stuck I'm talking about when I took a trip to China with my compassionate, never wrong, and ran a marathon and never stretched wife that's here today. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, dignitaries, I invite you on my journey to Beijing, China. My wife and I, we went to visit Julie. Julie was our close friend who was an American teaching English in a Chinese school. We showed up and traveled late one night, and we were hungry, so we decided to go to a restaurant. We walked through Julie's backside of the apartment, through her neighborhood, and to this amazing dumpling house. I still remember those succulent, mouth-watering ginger prawn dumplings. I can taste them still. And of course, I had to wash them down with some PGO. PGO is Mandarin for beer. I had 2, 3, maybe 4, but I was on vacation. It was okay. Who's counting? But then I was done. I wanted to head back. But Julie and my wife didn't. As soon as I got out the door, Julie grabbed me. She didn't trust me being able to make it back myself, so she ushered me into a cab. She gave the driver some money and said, "dong hu bian shu dui mian." Or maybe it was, "dong hu dui mian." Or maybe it was, "dong hu bian shu dui mian." Did you catch the subtle difference? Mandarin is a tonal language, and I was completely tone deaf. The driver sped out of the parking lot in the complete opposite direction of Julie's house. I didn't know where he was taking me. I thought he would make a U-turn at that next intersection, but he didn't. He continued on, and on, and on. "Sir, where are we going? I feel lost." No response. "Sir, where are we going?" I was fearful. And then he abruptly stopped. And as soon as my second foot got out of the cab, I turned around and asked him a question, and he was already gone. I looked around. It was dark. All the buildings looked the same. I couldn't tell if this was Julie's building or any other building in all of China. I was stuck. What was I to do? I looked at the street signs. Now, my ability to read Mandarin was definitely worse than my ability to speak or listen. And that's when I remembered what my wife would tell me if she was with me. And she would tell me, "Keep moving forward." And so I did. And I took an optimistic approach. I would get a bit more intimate experience through this foreign land. But as the miles kept going, were endless, and the time just kept going, the endless time that would take forever, my confidence waned. My outlook was bleak. My fear turned into anger. I was angry. I was angry at Julie. I was angry at the taxi driver. I was angry at myself for getting me in this position. But then I thought, what would my wife tell me if she was here? Keep moving forward. And so I did. My luck had changed. There was a familiar, safe place. Xingba. Say it with me. Xingba. Everyone. Xingba. That's Starbucks in Mandarin. And I knew 100% that if I stayed there in the morning, my wife would be there, ready to order her grande iced macchiato with soy milk. But the appeal of sleeping on a cement street in the country I didn't know was not appealing. So I remembered my wife saying, "Keep moving forward." And then I made it back to that dumpling house. I ran inside, excited. But they weren't there. Julie and my wife were long gone. I was disappointed. What was I to do next? What would you do next? Take another cab? I decided to retrace my original steps back through Julie's neighborhood. And I made it. I made it up to her apartment, up to her door. No answer. Still no answer. No one was home. By this time, I was completely exhausted, and I collapsed on the floor. I must have fell asleep because I awoke to laughter. Laughter of Julie and laughter to my wife. They ushered me in, and I went to sleep. In the morning, we left Julie's building, this time in the front. And that's where I noticed there was a security station that was there that looked very familiar. In fact, it was the same security station that the taxi driver had dropped me off the day before. I couldn't believe it. I walked hours and hours getting lost for nothing. I was stuck. I couldn't go on. But then I heard my wife say, "You have to keep moving forward. We have to get to Xingbake." Mr. Contest Master.